Hello everyone, welcome to the CTV News on Calabash TV and on the Wave Radio 94.5. I am Lisa Joseph. Advance in sustainable development and fiscal stability. That's the core direction of the government's plans contained in the budget for 2015-2016. But as far as the leader of the opposition is concerned, the budget statement delivered by Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Dr. Kenny Anthony, was nothing more than a rehash of failed policies. The Prime Minister's boast of a decrease in the deficit of 4.1% has been questioned by Dr. Gail Rigobert. The leader of the opposition convened a press conference Wednesday ahead of parliamentary debate on the budget, which is scheduled to begin Thursday.
That decrease is not as a result of any genius or fiscal policy on the part of the government, and may very well have had more to do with the fact that the government failed to raise the necessary revenue to fulfill its capital expenditure. We will recall last year that the government lamented the fact that the economic conditions of the regional economy meant that he had failed to raise the anticipated revenue through bonds and treasury bills. And yet again, in this year's budget, we see that the government is expecting to raise millions of dollars on the regional market through the sale of those same treasury bills and bonds. And the question must be asked, therefore, what has changed so dramatically in the last fiscal year to give any degree of assurance to the people of St. Lucia that this time the government will have greater luck in raising the revenues anticipated?
Dr. Rigobert said Dr. Anthony attempted to sugarcoat the hardships that his government has brought St. Lucians over the last 4 years.
But let me forewarn the Prime Minister and his cabinet of ministers. You cannot sugarcoat economic hardship. You cannot sugarcoat the fact that by admission contained in the economic review, that disposable income has eroded or declined, that food prices have gone up, that inflation has come up, and here's what's even more worrying. Construction, manufacturing, agriculture all experience declines in this fiscal year yet again. And even passing mention of the tourism sector being relatively buoyant is certainly not sufficient to offset the dramatic contractions or declines in construction and manufacturing and, of course, in agriculture. Had that been the case, had the revenues being generated from tourism been so dramatic or so much, then that would have been sufficient to offset the declines in the other sectors. So we've got to be careful how we deconstruct what the Prime Minister presented last evening, because it was really an attempt to sugarcoat.
The leader of the opposition went on to advise the government that it cannot tax its way out of the deficit, adding that what is needed are growth-generating measures.
Did anyone hear in any detail any measure on the part of the government to correct rising unemployment? Did you hear the government say anything with respect to restoring confidence in this economy? Did you hear the Prime Minister present any fixes with respect to creating jobs for the thousands who have lost their jobs in the last 3 years, partly on account of a draconian 15% application of VAT? Did you hear the Prime Minister say in any detail how he expects to reverse what we have seen as 3 consecutive years of economic contraction? Where are the revenue generating policies? Where are the growth policies?
Dr. Gail Rigaba, the leader of the opposition there.